Muchísimas gracias por habernos acompañado hasta este momento y muchas gracias por seguir acompañándonos en este segundo triple histórico Congreso de Derecho Ambiental, también combinado con FIDA, con EIDA y con COPLADA. Muchísimas gracias por estar presentes siempre con nosotros. Somos muy agradecidos. Welcome to the International Table of Lima, the global environmental lawyers lead worldwide. We are here with our first table of international coordination. And for this, our topic today is sustainable food, agri-tourism. And we have a special guest speaker, an amazing woman that we have here to talk to you about her expertise. Anna, how are you? Anna Dostowska, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me here for this amazing day or evening for me, and that you are all here from around the world in front of me.
Yes, we are. We're so excited for your presentation. I mean, we don't know how sustainable we can be when we travel. We travel, we have tourism around the world, but we never know if we are being sustainable or not, or what agri-tourism is. So thank you so much for being here. We are honored by your presence in this Congress. Anna, if you allow me, I will introduce you to the audience so they can meet you, okay?
Sure.
Anna is a marketing, communications, and public relations expert who creates award-winning strategies for brands and the hospitality industry, helping destinations attract visitors. She's a Planet Happiness ambassador, storyteller, and a sustainable tourism consultant specializing in culinary tourism, food tourism, agri-tourism, community-based tourism, sustainable food systems, and regeneratory travel. Her vision is putting local communities front and center as a happy place to live is a happy place to visit. She is highly skilled at creating once-in-a-lifetime travel experiences, the empowerment of women, social inclusion, nature-positive activities, and is committed to protecting cultural, culinary, and environmental heritage. She is highly skilled and has a master's degree in marketing and management from Warsaw School of Economics, a postgraduate diploma in tourism and hospitality management, and a postgraduate diploma in food studies from University of Psychology and Human Sciences in Warsaw, Poland. She speaks fluently English and German, as well as Spanish and Russian at an intermediate level. She holds a WSET certificate from Wine and Spirit Education Trust. She cooperates with Michelin star chefs, Bolt and Milo Organization. Anna is also a passionate culinary travel journalist and wine columnist, publishing engaging stories in National Geographic Traveler, Business Travel, Connoisseur Circle, and Food and Friends magazine. Wow, Anna, we're so honored to have you here. Thank you so much for having this special time for us. And thank you for making us educate ourselves how to travel around the world and how to be sustainable so we can protect this environmental atmosphere that we live, that everyone lives. So just to start with this, Anna, what can you tell us about agri-tourism? What does agri-tourism mean?
I will share with you today a lot of insights, not only about agri-tourism, but how to travel in a sustainable way, not to harm environment, and even what to do to leave a positive footprint on nature and communities. And I will be honored to share my presentation with you. And at the end, I hope that we will all know how to travel better and how to be better people.
Yes, of course, please, we're excited. Please share your screen.
Okay. I'm sharing my presentation with you. So again, I'm really happy and honored to be present here today, and I will share with you all my knowledge on food travel and my vision, because food is a kind of a bridge that bridges cultures and opens doors to communities to find this common ground, and it brings people together to facilitate change. because change is always good. And in the group, we are so much more powerful. And that's, I'm here today in this group of fascinating people from around the world. I'm really honored to be here.
Thank you, Anna, for your presence. Yes, please.
So what is, first let's start with what is food travel. If you go on a website of a given destination and look for food section, in most cases, you will find a list of restaurants and local dishes with descriptions and sometimes recipes, but it does not help you always with getting the real authentic food experience. Because food tourism is not only about eating. Eating is in fact a really small portion of the whole food experience. And why is food travel so powerful? Why it is gaining on popularity and visitors tend to spend more and more percent of their travel budget on food? Because it connects to land and heritage and culture, and it brings people and traditions closer together. And the best way of sharing stories is through food. And this is what generations has been doing for ages. And it was that this is how humankind has been keeping its heritage for generations. And people used to share stories over food at the fireplace. Nowadays, we share stories at the kitchen table or at the restaurant, but the style, what we are doing all together has not changed. We are still telling stories over food. And food is also giving us the real sense of place. And the sense because it influences all human senses. It influences the taste, the smell, the sound, even the sight, and you know how it looks. So it's therefore we call it that it gives us a real sense of place. And also for the destinations which are competing for the same visitors, it makes a big differentiating factor, the food and food travel. It also has a big potential to fight with over-tourism because food can direct the tourism flow to the destinations that are very popular to less remote areas. People could go to a famous winery that is far away and off the beaten track, or the restaurant. To give you an example of the restaurant of Hisza Franco with the chef Anna Roche, she was featured in her restaurant in a Netflix series, Chef's Table. And it got so popular, and her restaurant got so popular that you have to book the table there months ahead. And it's not in the capital, it's not in the city, it's in a remote valley in Alp mountains. And people still go there, and it's near Italy. So in Italy, you have a lot of Michelin star restaurants, fantastic restaurants, but people still go there to this place because it's so powerful, because Anna Roche shared her powerful story, and it has this power to bring people and direct this tourism flow to the remote destination. So it's really, really powerful. The power of food is amazing. But can travel be sustainable? It's the title of our presentation today, is sustainable food tourism. But we might ask ourselves a question: if tourism can be sustainable at all, it's like oxymoron. Some might people say it's like black snow or hot ice. It's a kind of a paradox that every time we travel, and it's not on food, so we leave a carbon footprint. And by traveling, we also impact nature. and local communities.
Yes, I mean, Anna, you're so right. I mean, when we travel, it's not only about food sustainability, it's about what we do, what we are walking, how are we with our footprint, and food with T and food with D. Like everything around us is that sustainability that we are walking through. So we are not aware that we are traveling in a sustainable world or not. This is so good.
Yes, absolutely. But I will tell you how to travel in a sustainable way. So if we look at the traveling from the sustainability perspective of the climate or carbon footprint, it's not sustainable. So what we can do is minimize the negative impact of tourism. And if we talk about sustainable food travel, so it's just eating and traveling in harmony with nature and local culture and society. But what if there is more to eat than that? And I will tell you that. So sustainable travel is the first step, or the kind of step on the road to establishing the collaborative relationship with nature. But if you look at this picture, the picture was created by Bill Reed, a famous scientist who created the regenerative model. And you look at it, sustainability is in the middle. It's just the step. And it's another scientist, Jonathan Day, he's the professor of at the Purdue University. He says that now sustainable tourism is a low bar, and because at the end of the day we are trying not to make a mess of the place. But if we look at the regenerative model and apply regenerative principles to tourism, it could mean that we can make the place better for the future generation. It's not just leaving it as it is, but improving. And Anna Pollock, she's a famous visionary of regenerative travel. She's one of the pioneers, and she's my friend, and I'm honored to work with her on some projects. And she says that the only way we will be able to heal the earth is to improve our capability to be in relationship with ourselves and communities. And this is how we should travel. So if we look at the food travel, not as a sustainable travel, but regenerative, it means that it should have a positive impact on those all elements, positive impact on climate, positive impact of the local community, of its culture, and of its economy. So when we are leaving the place which we visited, we should leave it a better place than we found it. And we should leave the place as a better person. And so in this way, we are regenerating both the place and ourselves. And this is my vision of travel and food travel too. So if we apply those regenerative principles to food travel or any travel, it means the higher level of connection. Connection is a great word, and connection is all what tourism is about, but it's the higher level of connection with local people, with the place, with the nature. It's also higher level of our engagement in our travel, in our trips, a higher level of participation. We are not only seeing, we are not only sightseeing, we are engaging and participate. It's also a higher level of education and inspiration. We should learn from our travels. We should get inspired and inspire others. It's also a collective experience. It should be collective experience. So we should be doing things together, whatever we do when we travel, together with the other people we travel, together with the local communities. And it should have impact on our future actions. How this trip can improve my sustainable practices when I return home. So these are the questions we should ask ourselves. So let's see now how we can travel better and in a more meaningful way, in a more regenerative way. So my favorite kind of food activity while traveling is surprisingly not eating, but at least not only eating, but visiting. And this is so much more regenerative. And this is always what I do when I travel. To get the local food experience, you have to reach out and you have to get out of your comfort zone. And you have to make connections with local communities, with local people. And even if you don't know the language, you can hire a driver and he might be your guide and the translator to the local people. And you can find, I call them local food heroes. Local communities know their food heroes and they will always tell you who makes the best cheese, who makes the best limoncello, who makes the best bread. And those are the local food heroes, and go and find them. And you should visit them. You can also visit the places where the food grows, like farms. They might be typical countryside farms, but also urban farms. They gain on popularity. The people grow food on even the top roof of the buildings. They can be also plantations. I personally love plantations because for me, living in Warsaw, plantations have this exotic feel with coffee, tea, vanilla, spices.
Yes, totally. And so one of the secret tips that we have for this is that not only listen to the hotel guide or the guide tourism that we have like just there, but just get connected with the people where we travel to, with a town that we are in, or with the connections that we have around us, so we can get to this like the sites that they're there that we don't know, right?
Absolutely. So you can just Google places. In internet, you have so many people on Instagram, on Facebook. You can reach out and ask. So you'll be fine. And you can also go to even the bakeries or the pastry shops. You don't have to go there and buy chocolates only, but you can also learn about the production process. Some bakeries can let you in and to have a sneak peek how they make ice cream, how they make chocolates. It's really, really amazing. And it also means that we should give our food a face, because we usually don't know the origin on the food on our plate. And this is really sad because we've lost connections with the origin of the food. We lost this, sometimes this food chain is so long that even people in the middle got lost of its origin. And we should know the place where the food grew and who produced it. And by getting to know those people, you immediately make the strong emotional connections with this place and with the whole destinations. And because you're becoming a real ambassador of this place, you'll be telling your friends and the family when you get back home what you ate and experienced. And you will be telling them the stories and who produced it. For example, if you eat honey and you were visiting this honey farm, the beekeepers, and you will learn, maybe you will hear stories that they are keeping the bees for the generations and how they love the bees, you can see how the bees are working on those people and this connections. And then when you'll be telling your family and friends when you come back about the honey and you give them the honey as a gift, it will have a totally different meaning to you and to them, and you will be this ambassador. And remember that all destinations have their local heroes, food heroes, and people want to share who they are. And they want to share how they live and their lives and the stories. And those are the stories that you won't find on Google. They are in the minds of those people, and it's really like when I travel, it's I still have the feeling I will not make to listen to all those stories and they will be lost. And therefore I write articles too, because I want to keep those stories and save them for the generations, because they are really amazing.
So yes, sometimes when we travel, we just go to the sites that we see in Google, or we just research the sites that we don't know, because there's a guide tourism or something that we go there just by our not own wisdom, but their wisdom of the guide tourists that we have around us, or just the agency that we have there. And they just give us the touristic parts of the town or the city that we are visiting, and we don't know no farms or no plant-based popular tables, the most popular things where to go or places or where to shop. So this connection with the people of the city and the town, it's essential, right? To be like sustainable with our travel.
Absolutely, but you know, it's not that easy to find. When I was traveling through through Spain, and in Spain there is a famous, not like very famous, but there is a beautiful town on Costa Blanca shore. It's called Denia, and Denia has a 3-star restaurant, very famous restaurant, but it's a little small town. But very few people know that Denia has the UNESCO, the name of the UNESCO capital of cultural capital of gastronomy. There are around 30 places in the world, 30 towns in the world who has this title of the UNESCO City of Gastronomy. And one of them is Denia. And really people don't know about it. And people even in Spain don't know about it. And people in Denia don't know about it. So, you know, I knew it. And I was trying to find the places, connect, you know, why it was this culinary gastronomy. What are the places I should visit? And it's so hard to find that information. So really, destinations have treasures, have diamonds, and they are not shining. They don't present it to their visitors. And it's so important that the destinations and the tourism boards and the marketing people of the destinations really present the treasures and what they have the most precious, the food and food people, and they show the visitors the route, like individual, because if you travel with the company, they will do everything for you. It's very passive. But if you want to be this regenerative, sustainable tourist and you want to do it your own way, you really sometimes it's difficult. You have to put a lot of effort to find the right people.
Yes, and you don't know where to go when you go there without a tourist guide. I mean, you don't know where to go, who to ask, and maybe in the town that you are, maybe people are shy and they're not so amazing with you when you ask something. But the thing that I was thinking when you were talking is that we also can reduce our emissions and our carbon footprint by walking and just asking and connecting, and just not just going with the transport or the car or the bus or something to the guide tourism site that we have. So we can walk and go by bicycle and just connect and like enjoy what you were telling us, like all the field, they go to the field, we go to the field there with our footprint, like less emissions, and just being sustainable in our kind of living and traveling to that place. And that is amazing.
Yes, absolutely. So, transport is one part, and we really can reduce how much carbon footprint we leave, but also the other aspects of the sustainable tourism are important, the communities, the connections, the engagement. So sometimes we should not be so feel guilty that we go by car somewhere, because we do so much more good in terms of the connection and experience and learning and living other positive impact. So we should look at the tourism as a like bigger picture, not only carbon footprint, because then we are lost. we should see the broader perspective. So my idea and my advice is like to go to the field and like field, a real field, but also I mean to the nature. And one of the forms of tourism that allows you this is the community-based tourism. It's like going and visiting local people, communities. It's also agri-tourism, and I will tell you later on what I mean about it. And also wine tourism. Wine is a specific type of tourism that we don't categorize in any others, because wine is about tasting, but also nature, staying, doing some physical work as well on wineries. So let me expand a bit on it. So farm visits, as I said before, they can be the typical countryside farm, urban farms, but we have this regenerative farming. I guess many of you who are listening or watching know this term regenerative farming, and this might be so inspiring for the people to see how we could farm in a regenerative way, with how we can improve our soil, how we can do farming and grow food without artificial fertilizers, and how we can grow food that is tasty and full of nutrients. And also we can treat the farm visit as education. And you see on this photo below, it's my family. I brought my parents to, when we were visiting Spain, I thought that they might spend a day at a farm and learn something about the local, what they are growing. And you know that we are standing on a rice field near Alicante, near Valencia, I guess. And Valencia is a huge region when they grow rice. And you would not think about rice fields around Valencia, but this is what they do. And they've been growing rice there for many, many years, for hundreds of years, until the malaria came. And people associated malaria with water and mosquitoes, and they stopped doing the growing rice for many years, until the recently. But it's so amazing, and we went there, we met the young farmers, and my parents was really amazed. And I think everyone can do this, invite friends and spend the day like this. And so we can visit the farm, but we can also stay at the farm a bit longer and take an active part of the farm life. We can work a bit. When you work with the soil, so many endorphins are working in your body, and you feel happy, although it's a physical work, but your mind is healing. And really, even doctors are prescribing stays at farms as a healing, as they, part of the therapy. When someone is stressed or burnt out, they say they should go and work on the farm like 3-4 days or a week, and this is such a healing experience.
The connection with the earth that you said from Ana Paula, like the connection with the earth, right?
Absolutely, and it's healing your mind, and you heal the earth too. So it works both ways. So you can stay in the farm for a bit longer. What else you can do? It's we call it foraging. Maybe you heard this name. Foraging is going to nature and collect and pick up what is growing naturally. You can go to the forest and you can pick up mushrooms or berries. You can go to the meadow and pick up herbs, and you can go truffle hunting. This is also foraging because we don't grow truffles. And here on the photo, you see the photo that I made a month ago. I was in northern Greece on truffle hunting, and this is the dog Dorita. And it's fun for dogs. It's fun. It's like playing hide and seek. Someone is seeking the ball for them, and they are running around the forest and trying to find it. And it's such an amazing experience because you collect the truffles and then you cook with this, you drink wine, and it's so great. When I think of it, I have goosebumps. It was one of the best experiences I had. Also, wine tourism. Wine tourism, we associate, going to the winery, drinking wine, buying wine, and leaving. But there is so much to it. You can, of course, during the harvest time, you can pick up grapes. But besides harvest, you can go and help at winery. It's really growing, and you would be surprised how many people go to farms and dig and water plants and cut what it needs to be cut, and they are doing this for free because they love wine. Also, what is happening now with wine tourism is that we have more and more biodynamic and organic wineries, and they don't look like you on the photos, that the straight rows and just the soil that you see. It grows also with the other kinds of plants. You see chicken going, some goats or sheep, and this wine grows naturally. So it has natural yeast, not added artificially. And even, the biggest names of wines and biggest wineries are doing this. So you might go and learn about it. Also, there are some activities you can do on wineries. You can experience art. You often associate art with wine. When you go to the exhibition and you see the sculptures or paintings, you usually drink wine, and you can bring all those experiences to wineries, and you can drink wine in the beautiful surroundings and listen to literature or the music. It's really amazing. So this is a kind of a great experience and learning for you and healing. Great thing.
Yes, because we usually use wine like for going to a cocktail or an event or something, and we don't like go deep with the wine tourism, as you said. We don't go deep there, and we don't experience what amazing, like the fruit of the wine is and the production of the wine is in the places we go. And there are different wines in every single country, so that is an amazing tip.
Yes. So remember it next time you go to the winery, what you can do there. Again, the great experience that is connecting people and that makes you learn is cooking classes. I once wrote an article about how you can spend summer at school, and it was going to different cooking schools on Phuket Island, and it was so great. I was doing my pad thai 5 times, and I was skilled in it later on. It's so much fun. So when you travel, try to choose itineraries when you have a cooking class, or even if you are on a short trip, even business trip, you can find a cooking class in the place where you are, I'm sure, and it will be remembered by you forever. You can do the home cooking too with locals. It's such a great cultural insight. I once went to the Chinese family, and we were cooking Chinese dumplings. And I saw that the dumplings, they are really similar to what we call pierogi in Poland. These are dumplings, but we make all those patterns on the dough in a bit different way. So I showed the lady from Shanghai how we do it in Poland. She taught me how to do it in the Chinese way, and we had so much fun. And I discovered that, you know, empanadas in Latin America, it's so similar so to Polish pierogi, but you bake it, don't boil it, but they look similar, and you do the same thing with the dough around, exactly like we do in Poland. Okay, so local food tours, this is what Yukari was talking about. Sometimes people really are shy and don't know how to go out, so at least go on a local food tour. And these can be walking food tours. You can do it, even big cities, smaller cities, they are waiting for you, and you can spend the day or half a day walking. And it's a great idea because you can taste small portions. Normally, when you go to the restaurant, you order a meal, and you just cannot go to the other restaurant and order another meal. But in the food walking tours, you get the small portion, and it's amazing idea how you can taste the local flavors. And again, if you're on a business trip, on a delegation, you have one afternoon free, go on a local food store. Other experiences, I call it make your own. So when you go to olive farm, they let you press your own olive. You virtually are pressing the olives, and you get it in the bottle, and it tastes so different. You can also blend your own wine in a winery. You can have different varieties, and you're like not the sommelier, but you're the guy who is making the coupage, and it's your own. You bring it home, just give to the friends. The same with chocolate. The same with tofu. I did tofu once when I was in Japan, and it's very simple to make a tofu. It's just a soy milk, and you bring a special calcium that is solidifies it, and it was hot, and it was so much flavorful. It's a great experience. Again, you can squeeze your own juice. Here on the photo, you see my parents squeezing juice on an orange farm in Spain. In Poland, there are no oranges growing. And in the past, in the communist past, we got oranges once a year at Christmas because it was such a luxurious product. So for my parents now, of course, we have oranges now in the shop, but for them to pick up oranges on their own and then squeeze the juice and drink it, it was the most delicious orange juice they had in their lives, I guess. And again, on the photo, you see this is the picture from the tea plantation that my friends are sitting at the back, and the lady is roasting the tea leaves that we've just picked. And she's explaining us how to roast it. And if you have ever smelled the fresh tea leaves being roasted, it's like a best perfumes in the world. You have sometimes the tea, green tea, white tea perfumes, but this is so much better, and this is real. So to say, again, the regenerative food travel, I gave you a lot of examples how the regenerative travel can look like, food travel. It means that tourists must co-create, and they must be, this event must be of some kind of social value and environmental value. And we cannot just be consumers then go and buy food. We should take an active part in making the food and kind of earning the food. So I hope we still have a bit time to. I will quickly give you 3 examples of greatest case studies. There is this guy, Jonathan Tanler. He's a professor in Denmark at the university. And he took once his group of students to Faroe Islands. And they went foraging. They were going to pick up herbs to the wild. Then they got some goat cheese, and they were baking this kind of pizza or flatbread. And while they were picking up the herbs, they were learning about this, plants and biodiversity of the island. And when they go back and the flatbread was baking, they were working in the garden, kind of to earn the food and the dessert that they got. And this is so much regenerative in every aspect. Learning that it also impacts your future actions, because then you can come back home and you go to the wild and pick up the same herbs, and you can do the same. So you learn from it a lot. Another case study was when I was co-organizing an amazing tour of Michelin star chefs to Yamagata, to Japan, to the rural areas of Japan, not touristy at all. No one knows about Yamagata, but Yamagata is really rich in agriculture, and this is the region they are growing rice, and they are making sake, and they are making all the pickles. And it was so much regenerative for the chefs, because they were also foraging, going to the forest. We were picking up the bamboo shoots from the ground. We went to the temple and learned from the monks that they live only from plants that they pick up from around the temple, and they were showing us those plants, how they preserve it for winter. And then on the right side, you see how our dinner looked only from what we picked from around the temple. It was, again, very regenerative, very meaningful for all participants. And again, the third case study I would like to tell you, it's what is Sweden now doing. They called it Edible Country Project. They picked up several chefs, famous chefs from all Sweden, and they created tables in the nature. And you can book this table. You can go to the forest and virtually spend this dinner in the forest with the chefs that they are cooking and making this in the nature. And it's so much reconnecting, it's so much regenerative, because you feel, smell the sounds, you see the sights of the forest, and you cook with the chefs as well. And this is just a different form of going to the restaurant, but it's, again, so much regenerative. And to finish, I have two slides for you about the trends in food tourism and what I believe is the future of food tourism. So what is happening now is that travelers are looking for authentic products, and the more authentic and local, the better, because they have this short radius of logistics and they don't have to travel long. When I was once in Bali, I was writing about really famous fancy restaurant, and they served me a fish from Dover, from the Great Britain, and they were so proud, that they are serving me. And I was thinking they got crazy, because they are on island. Bali is an island. They have amazing fish around, and they were serving me the fish from Dover. It's really crazy. So this is not the way we should go. We should really serve what is growing, what is living around. Again, the biofood and free-range eggs. This is what is happening more and more, and you get it on the tables. And the menus should be seasonal. You don't get strawberries in winter, so that the strawberries in winter are like plastic. They are tasteless, and they are not healthy at all. Again, less meat alternatives. So it doesn't mean you don't have to stop eating meat, but maybe less. And this is what is happening in restaurants. They give you those options, like also lactose-free, gluten-free. And the big topic, two big topics, my favorite, it's fermentation and superfoods. So the fermentation is what is, for example, the reason of long life of Japanese people. It's all their cuisine basically is based on fermentation. It's the soy sauce, it's the miso, it's the sake, it's the tofu. So it's all their cuisine is based, and the pickles. And and fermentation is now coming back to the fine dining, even to the high tables, because it was considered to be a farming, low quality food, the fermented food. Like in Poland, we have this cabbage, the sauerkraut, and we were not boasting of it, you know, because poor people were eating fermented foods, because this is how they preserved food for winter in the past. And now they discovered, and they even got the Nobel Prize for it, how the fermented food is working for your body, because you have the second brain in your guts, and the fermentation food, it works the best for it. So again, the superfoods is the next big topic. You have so much superfoods in South America. When I was to Peru 10 years ago, I found out I really know like 10% what I'm eating there, because there was so much what I haven't heard about before. And for me, it was such a big lesson, and I would love to come back and try again those amazing foods. And to finish, the future of food tourism, it should be that biodiversity, the different varieties of food that you're growing locally. Why people in the world know only the Cavendish banana shape, when you have like hundreds of other bananas? And the same with ancient grains, with grains that are not gluten, full of gluten. We are reviving this, but this is really future, but it's happening in the regenerative farming. The grains are coming back, and the old varieties are coming back, and the healthy soil is coming back. So yeah, I was trying to be quick. I thought that, the time I was given would be a lot, but I wanted to tell you so much and tell you how we should travel. And no matter how qualified you are, I know you're not going to change the world yourself. And my work is not about me, but together to start conversations about the food and through food. And that's why I'm here. And if you want to connect, you can connect on LinkedIn with me, or email me, or if you want to have some consultation about the food experiences for your families, your businesses, whatever, just reach out and I'll be happy to talk to you.
Anna, this is amazing. I mean, the secret tips, not more secret anymore, that you gave us is amazing. And I think that engaging, participating, learning, inspiring us and others, and connect with the locals and the fields and the food and the wine tourism. I never heard of that phrase, like wine tourism. That we get friends, like you say there, and the planet will be connected with us, and we will be connected with the planet. And I have a question for you. What is your vision of for the culinary tourism experience that you had? Like, what is your vision for that in the future?
Yes, I will be happy to travel around the world and be sure that what I'm eating comes from the healthy soil and comes from, and that this is the best diverse food I can get from the local farming, and that the farmers are happy, and that I'm not leaving any carbon footprint at all when I'm traveling, and that I might inspire other people and learn from others, and that I will keep the stories that I hear from them forever. So this is my vision. This is my mission, to tell other people how to travel this way.
Thank you. You can stop sharing screen if you want. Thank you so much, Anna, for this travel regeneratively that we have here, with your learning and your wisdom and your education to us about how to travel and be regenerative, be resilient with the planet, and be resilient with our own bodies and with our warm minds, and connect with others, because we are in this together. As I always say, like, we are in this together, in togetherness, and just by togetherness being regenerative and resilient and just taking care of our planet is taking care of ourselves. So this is a new way for me. I learned a lot. I'm gonna see this YouTube link a lot, like a lot. So to like just like memorize every single thing that you gave us. Thank you so much, Anna, for this time with us. Thank you so much
And
for
how to meet
letting us
you?
learn from you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for your heart, for your wisdom. Thank you for every experience that you shared with us, because this is precious. And this time for us, it's an honor to have you in Lima. It's an honor to have you here in this academic congress, and we are honored by your presence. And we want more from you. So we're going to take you to Vision, the section of Lima. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I would really love to meet you all in person. It's so much different. It's so much different energy to see people reacting what you're telling. So hopefully in the future, we will have a chance to meet you as well.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Maybe next year or the next year, but we're gonna meet together. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Muchísimas gracias por estar con nosotros compartiendo esta mesa. No se vayan porque tenemos muchas más mesas para ustedes. Thank you for sharing this first table of international coordination. Stay with us, stay tuned, because we have so much more in this academic congress, in this second triple encuentro histórico de derecho ambiental.
Gracias.